One argument for God is that the argument of morality and where morality comes from. Well, a rebuttal to this question would be, well, the assumption here is that morality exists, right? So essentially, if one believes that morality does not exist, then essentially what you're saying is that there is no right and wrong. If a person believes that there is no right and wrong, then that would be kind of morally repulsive, because essentially that person in their mind convinced themselves that there is no right and wrong, so essentially they can do harm and hurt to another person and completely justify it and rationalize it with that type of worldview. So that type of worldview doesn't really work in reality, because we have a whole criminal justice system that protects people that are being harmed, hurt, and abused. We as a people are generally, naturally, don't want to be harmed or abused or have our personal boundaries crossed, right? Or we don't want harm to be done to us. We don't want bad things to happen to us, right? So in essence, morality would have to exist. So that again begs the question, where does morality come from? Well, one can state, hey, well, morality comes from each individual person, right? Okay, so the problem with an individual person deciding what's right and what's wrong, if a person gets to decide what's right and wrong based upon their own belief system, then that means that they can decide that murdering another person is right, raping another person is right, harming another person is right, abusing another person is right, because they believe it's right. They are self-defining what is right and what's wrong. And so that would kind of be a contradiction to morality, because that would be more of a subjective morality, right, based upon one's own beliefs and experiences and what one would decide to be right and wrong. So that would be inconsistent with the whole idea of morality, because if we're defining morality for ourselves, that's a very dangerous thing to do. Well, then one could say, okay, well, morality comes from our parents, or morality comes from society. Okay, and so where did our parents get it from? Where did society get it from? Because it's unscientific to say that nothing created something. So morality has to come from something. The most rational and logical explanation for morality would be God. So God defines what is right and what is wrong. He defines what's good and what's bad, and he has laid it out clearly, what is right and what's wrong, and what's good and what's bad.